Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your Rangers Review pre-match show ahead of the Old Firm clash against Celtic at Ibrox this afternoon. The teams have dropped and some interesting selection choices from the manager this afternoon. Of course, we know it's pretty much a patched-up side that Rangers have put out today, and without much further ado, we'll put up the team and we can discuss that in detail. Chris joins us live from the press room at Ibrox. We'll get rid of the wee tagline up there. There we go. So Rangers lining up with Liam Kelly in goal, of course, with no Jack Butland available. A back four of Ridvan Yilmaz, who starts on the right, Dujon Sterling and Robin Proper in the middle, and Jeffrey on the left. So no Leon Balogun in the squad. He has failed his fitness test. So Ridvan will be starting out on the right of that back line, given the injury to James Tavernier, and no Leon Balogun available. The midfield consists of Mohamed Diamande, Nico Raskin, who will wear the captain's armband this afternoon, Nadim Bayrami, Yanis Hadji, and Vaslav Cherny in support of Hamza Igaman, who will lead the line. On the bench for Rangers, they go with Munn, Cortez, Dessers, Matondo, Dowell, King, Fraser, Danilo, and there was one more there. I'm just trying to read the tagline that's gone across my screen here. It was Munn, Cortez, and Barron. That's the player that I missed out there. So, Chris, your initial thoughts to that team? Unfortunate that Leon Balogun isn't available. Of course, the manager did say that he had a very, very small chance of making it. He hasn't made it. So what do you make of the starting 11?
It's not quite full strength, is it? I think if you look middle to front, I think it's perhaps as expected. I think we'll come on to talk about Bayrami and Danilo. For me, that's the wrong call. I would have gone for Danilo over Bayrami, but also the focus has to be on that back five. As we reported on the website yesterday, no Jack Butland, unfortunately. I know his form, as we spoke about last week, I think his form has become something of a concern for Rangers. It's not been at the same level that we saw during the first months of his Rangers career, but he's still the number one. He's still the better option. It's certainly a huge blow that he's not available. Also, Liam Kelly comes in, having made his debut just here a couple of weeks ago. So, in hindsight, perhaps good that he had that run out and he wasn't making his full debut in an Old Firm game, but Liam is experienced enough. He's been around the block long enough. He's played against Celtic often enough. For other teams, this is also a very different experience for him. A very different type of fixture. But I don't have any real concerns about him coming in there as much as a blow. Obviously, not to have your first choice. I'm assuming the manager will discuss Jack Butland pre and post match. Hopefully we can get a time scale on his absence, but also the most important thing, I'm sure everyone will wish Jack well and wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, on his Instagram, Jack Butland wrote yesterday afternoon, I really appreciate the messages, but it's important the information is correct. I've suffered a significant bleed to my leg that needed hospital attention. Thankfully, that's now under control and will lead to a full recovery, hopefully sooner rather than later. Needless to say, it's come at an awful time, and I was fully focused on helping us as a club. The most important thing now is supporting the lads and focusing on getting fit again as soon as possible. Let's stick together and push on. So that was what he had to post on his Instagram account yesterday. Like you, Chris, I've got no concerns about Liam Kelly. He has come up against Celtic numerous times. He was captain of the Motherwell. He's been in Scotland squads. He's played a countless amount of games in the Scottish Premiership. I don't think that'll be cause for concern today. The back four, I think, will be. We know that the back two, Proper and Sterling, haven't really covered themselves in glory in the last two games. I don't think either of them are first-choice centre-backs if everyone is fit. So that is a concern. Ridvan at right-back. This will be an interesting one, will it not?
Surprised. I know we had a piece on the site over the weekend looking at how the manager could solve that right-back issue after he confirmed at his press conference that James Tavernier was injured. Ridvan's not the option I expected in there. You think a lot of people expected Leon King to come in and either play right back or to play centre half, and for Dujon Sterling to then move back to right back. There was even a train I thought that Conor Barron could come into the side and play at right back. The manager has decided to go with Ridvan. It's a bold call. It's one that he needs to pay off. But you look at that back four. Shefty, obviously a consistent performer over the course of the season. Have no concerns about him this afternoon at all. The rest of them, a big afternoon ahead, a really difficult afternoon ahead. Sterling has not looked completely out of his depth at centre half, but has made a couple of mistakes. So this Mirren one and the defeat there comes to mind. Robin Proper, I think we've discussed a lot over the course of the season. This is a big test for him. Is he up to it? Time will tell. I think the Rangers fans will be somewhat nervous looking at that back four. We know how good Celtic are heading forward. We know the threat that they can carry. Is that a Rangers back four that can keep that Celtic threat out? I have my doubts.
Yep, fair play to Joshua, who called it in his predicted lineup. He had Ridvan out on the right-hand side. It was a possibility, of course, with question marks over Leon Balogun, whether he would be fit enough to feature in this game. So not even on the bench tells you that he is nowhere near ready. So, big afternoon for Ridvan over on that right-hand side. Good fullbacks for me. Should be able to play on whatever flank. So, big test for him coming up. I'll get the Celtic team up shortly as well, folks, but we'll discuss more of the Rangers 11. Good that Václav Černý isn't tired for this game. Joshua, ditto Hamza Egeman leading the line. You did say you were surprised that Danilo didn't start this game. By Rami getting the nods. Now, of course, he did a good job, I thought, on Callum McGregor in that League Cup final. McGregor didn't exert the sort of dominance that he usually does in these games. I'd imagine he'll be tasked with keeping an eye on him again. But with Rangers being at home, we're looking for more from Bayrami in an attacking sense, surely.
I think we need quite a lot more from him. I don't think over the last couple of weeks, probably in the last couple of months, I don't think he's really hit the heights expected. Good to see Yanis Hadji back, obviously, after he missed the game at Fir Park last time out. So good to see him back in. Interesting to see how he copes on that left-hand side. He will have defensive work to do as well as attacking work. Černý obviously comes back in. That's no surprise given the furore over him missing out and the impact that he made off the bench last time out. I think Bayrami over Danilo, as a big call. I think Danilo has been good when he's been given the chance over the last couple of weeks. I would have liked to have seen him come back into starting lineup. And I think that partnership between him and Egeman, it has worked well. You think when Egeman drifts out that left hand side, you need someone who can get ahead of the play, who can get themselves in the box and can offer a threat in there. Bayrami doesn't really bring that to path there. Certainly, he's not over the last couple of weeks. So definitely more needed from him. If you look at the bench and having Danilo in there, if Rangers do need a change, if they do need options, good to have Danilo there. Also, other attacking options in Cortez, Matondo, and Dessers. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. But I think Danilo is unfortunate. It's unfortunate to miss out this afternoon.
Yeah, let's get to a few comments in the chat. Blazing Blue 72 first of all says, Derek, stick a C under Raskin, please. It was Joshua that created this graphic for his buddy, so I can't go in and manually stick a C in there, so I do apologise about that. But for those of you that are just tuning in, Nico Raskin is the captain today with no James Tavernier and no Jack Butland in the starting 11. Good call for you getting the armband, Chris. There was a few murmurings that Robin Proper given. Oh, there's Stevie. How's it going, Stevie? How are we feeling for today?
Oh, I'm full of the joy. Me and Chris are hugely positive and we're raring to go. No Danilo again. Cracking. Looking forward to it, Derek.
What do you make of the team, Stevie?
I think no Danilo's a mistake, to be quite honest. I would have played Egeman out on the left and I would have played Danilo. I understand what he's doing because that's the same. Look, Hadji put in a good shift in the cup final. I think Bayrami tracked McGregor's space quite well in the cup final, so he's trying to do that again. Ridvan at right back, I'm not sure. He's very left-sided. I understand again pace of why he's trying to do it, but these are the decisions, mate, that will make or break Mr. Clement, aren't they? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will see. Yeah, absolutely. Score prediction, Steve, before you dive off there. How do you see it going today?
Somebody's shouting me, mate. I'll catch up with you. I would love to see a Rangers victory. My head tells me otherwise. My heart says Rangers could maybe get a result. So fingers crossed. But aye, not sure. I'll leave that to Chris.
Good man. Great for Stevie. A wee cameo there from Mr. Clifford. But before we get rudely interrupted there, Chris, Raskin with the captain's armband this afternoon. You surprised at that?
No, I think on form, and you look at the contribution that he's put in over the last couple of weeks, I think he certainly deserves it. Obviously no Tav, no Suter, no Butland. Rangers had to find someone to give that armband to, and I think on form, Nico Raskin certainly deserves it. He's been really impressive over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months. He's really cemented himself in that midfield. Certainly one of the first names on the team sheet. You saw the reaction in Paisley when he missed out, and people were really upset that he wasn't playing that night. As it turned out, it was the wrong call, but you could say, as it turned out, it was the right call because it means that he's definitely available for this game. So if Rangers are going to stand a chance, they need to be as strong in that midfield as possible. Again, I spoke earlier on about the strength of the Celtic forward line. We know how good they are in the middle of the pitch. We've seen these games for a number of seasons been won and lost in that area. Unfortunately for Rangers, they've lost far too many of them because they've not been able to assert themselves in the middle of the pitch. A big afternoon for Nico Raskin. You back him to rise to it. I think, as we've touched on, a really big afternoon for Bayrami, and also a really big one for Diomande as well. I think it's about time he really stood up and dominated one of these games if possible.
Yep, Bob with the point says, is there enough steel bite in the midfield? I'm not sure there is, Bob, but we'll soon find out. Of course, as Chris touched on there, it's a big afternoon for Mohamed Diomande. I'm not too necessarily concerned about Nico Raskin. We know what we get from Nico, but Diomande really has to step up and show his qualities this afternoon. That Celtic team, folks, is Schmeichel, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, Bernardo, Hatate, Kuhn, Maeda and Kyogo. So that is how Celtic will shape up at Ibrox this afternoon. Who's the match winners in that team, Chris, in the Rangers team today?
Like, it probably says quite a lot there that you had to caveat that question by saying the Rangers team there. I think you're obviously looking at the top end of the pitch. You're looking at the guys who are in form, and you're then looking at a man came off the bench at Fir Park, really changed the game for Rangers. Scored 2 really good goals. He's the guy. He's the fan favourite right now. Apart from that, I think you're looking at Cherny again, a guy who overall has been in good form of late. Rangers really missed him in the first half last week. Made a difference when he came off the bench. He spoke at the pre-match press conference now about his belief that Rangers can go and get a result. He also referenced the League Cup final and the narrowness of that defeat. You look at the likes of Cherny, the likes of Igaman to really come onto a game. Safe to say that Yanis Hadji maybe is due a goal. He's played a lot of football, or played a decent amount of minutes since he's come back into the side. There would be no better afternoon for him to go and get a goal. Outside of them, I think Rangers look a bit short of goal threats. Also, you don't have the usual threat of Tav. They don't carry enough threat at set pieces at all. So I think you're really looking at that front three: Igaman, Cherny, and Hadji. If one of them could step up and be the match winner, it would certainly change the mood around Ibrox. Because as I walked in from the car park with Josh, and we're seeing quite a strange atmosphere. It doesn't really feel like an Old Firm game as you're making the journey in. So safe to say Rangers need to start well. They need to give this crowd something to buy into, something to get behind. And if they could start well and get a foothold in the game, that could hopefully change the mood around here, and that then sets the foundation for one of those guys to potentially go and be a hero.
Yep. Bob with the point says that Hadji taking the set pieces in. Of course, no Tavernier there, so I'd imagine Hadji will be making his presence felt if Rangers do get set pieces in and around the area, and of course corners as well. So I think him, Bayrami will be there or thereabouts as well, you'd imagine, on that. It'll be interesting to see if Rangers can pick a man out from a corner this afternoon. Let's hope they can do just that. Of course, a poignant day as well. I noticed Rangers posted an image earlier on. There was a bit of a memorial service that took place just at the John Gregg statue to remember the 66 who sadly passed away in the Ibrox disaster in 1971. And so just a picture there of Fraser Thornton and Philip Clement laying a wreath at the John Gregg statue. It's time of the year, of course, where we always remember those who unfortunately went to the football match and never came home. And you've got your lovely piece on the website as well, Chris, that you wrote some time ago on that. You can go and check it out, folks. Also, if you are heading along to the game, I know the Met Office did issue a yellow weather warning for ice in and around the Ibrox area. So they do say that some icy patches on some untreated roads, pavements and cycle paths. So some injuries from slips and falls on icy surfaces. So do take extra care if you are heading out there. Make sure you've got your Timpson plimsolls or whatever the still game soles are in that hilarious sketch. Make sure that you spent a bit of cash on your on your soles on your shoes and you don't come a cropper if you are heading along to Ibrox. How do you see this going, Chris? It's make or break for Clement, isn't it? Even if I said it before in the lead up to the game, even if he gets a win here, I don't think it necessarily changes the mood music around him at this moment in time. A lot of fans have given up on him. He needs a win, of course, but would that be enough?
For me, no. I don't think you can. I don't think you can either hire a manager, keep a manager, or sack a manager just on the basis of one result. You have to look at the bigger picture. You have to look at the wider issues. And unfortunately for Clement, I think there are too many issues right now for him to come back from. A win would certainly be a boost for him. He would certainly take a lot from it if possible. But he's in this situation, as we've seen in the last couple of weeks, even when things are slightly better, you're just waiting for that next one because you know what the reaction from that next stumble is going to be. So, yes, he needs a win. Yes, he needs a performance. But he needs many, many more of them. He needs Rangers to go on a really sustained run of form over these next few weeks. If he can do that, that might ease some of the pressure. But it's one game at a time. He has to take care of this one. Certainly has to get a result in this one first.
Yep. Thanks to Rick. He says, Permagrip 1999 Timpsons. That's what you need on your shoes. So hopefully when you're leaving at Ibrox tonight, Chris, that you don't fall on your backside. But let's hope that Rangers get a result here this afternoon. We will be back as ever for the post-match reaction. We'll try and go live as close to the final whistle as possible. Joshua is at Ibrox as well for us. I'm hearing that there's a bit of a tifo that will be displayed prior to kickoff as well. So kickoff at 3 p.m, which is a rarity, of course, in this fixture. You don't often get that, but of course we're in that midst. We are just past New Year, and nobody knows what day it is. So let's hope Rangers can get a long overdue victory over Celtic, and we'll speak to you a little later on, folks. Bye for now.